All right, so we back again for this last leg. Uh, I'm hoping it's not too long, but it probably will be because I'm not gonna cut the class. Because even though a lot of people don't like these long classes, there's somebody that does. So, Yahuwah, we come before you as always, Father, asking for mercy, Father, asking for forgiveness for any sins, uh, transgressions, or iniquity. We ask, Father, that you remember all of us, Father, those that are here today and those that are traveling abroad. We also ask, Father, that you watch over every last one of us, Father, and keep us safe and keep our minds where it should be. And if it's not there, Father, please help us get to the appointed place at the appointed time where your name is or where your name is going to be. So, Father, we thank you for the Ruach HaKodesh. We thank you for Yahushua HaMashiach, the ultimate love gift that you gave. For whoever will come can come and be in him. And Father, if we can learn how to just walk in him like we should, talk like him like we should, and Father, we know we have a good chance of making the kingdom. So we ask these things, Father, in Yahushua's name. We thank you for your goodness and your kindness, Father. We always exalt and magnify the name of Yahuwah, Father, because without you, where would we be? So we thank you and bless the name, and we just happy to be yours, Father. In Yahushua's name we pray. Hallelujah. All right, so
Hallelujah.
this is where we stopped at, so we're gonna start here again. Luke 4:18. The spirit of Yahuwah is upon me. This is the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach. Um, and we know what testimonies are. If you don't understand what testimonies are, you should go look at the classes that we have on the laws and statutes. So the spirit of Yahuwah is upon me because he has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives. This is very powerful. He preaches the gospel to the poor in spirit, poor in wealth, because most of the time you'll find people that are in poor conditions, they have no problem believing in Elohim, right? And we have a lot of folks that's brokenhearted right now with all the tragedy and all the devilment that's going on, especially younger people. They lost to preach deliverance to the captives. So those that are captive by whatever, substance abuse, there's going to be some type of something in your life that you got to overcome. But right now, you're captive to it. You're trying to crawl up out of that hole to where the light is. And recovering of sight to the blind, those that could not see and hear these words, to set at liberty them that are bruised, to preach the acceptable year of Yahuwah. Because we know he does everything on appointed times. That's key with him. Never changes. Everything is a moed with him. So, Psalms 40 and 7. Then I said, behold, I have come. In the scroll of the book, it is written of me. I delight to do your will, O my Elohim. Your law is within my mind. I have told the glad news of deliverance in a great congregation. Behold, I have not restrained my lips, as you know, O sovereign. So he's telling you, I mean, in front of the great congregation, we already knew the plan, what I was coming to do. Now I'm here, I'm telling them everything that they need to get. And he's an austere man, so I mean, in the movie they try to make him sweet and cuddly, but in actuality, he'll tell you to your face what it was, whether you liked it or not. So gather in the lane. John 5 and 2 through verse 2 through 3 and verse 8, the great multitude of sheep. This is what he said. He said he came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So this is what he's going to do. We're going to see how he's going to gather them. Now there is in Jerusalem near the sheep gate a pool, which in Aramaic is called Bethesda, and which is surrounded by five covered colonnades or pillars. Here a great number of disabled people used to lie, the blind, the lame, the paralyzed, waiting for the water to move or the moving of the water, because they had a messenger that would come down, put his finger in the water. Whoever got it first would get healed. Right? In other words, they would get understanding. Their body would be healed. Now they're able to really learn. Right? But then Yahusha said to him, get up, rise, pick up your mat, and walk. Remember when he Because then the Pharisees started giving him a hard time. What are you doing healing on the Shabbat? Well, according to your law, then we shouldn't be doing this, but not to the covenant of Yahuwah. So he told the man to get up and rise. So rise equals Torah. Now look at, okay, he was blind. Now you see. We got to remember when it's dealing with the Mashiach, it's always at the highest level. He's always on a spiritual tip. He ain't never on no fleshly thing. And this is why we need the Ruach so we can understand this. Right? You will arise and have compassion on Zion, for it is time to show favor to her. Your appointed time has come. So, Bethesda is Greek word number 964, which means a house of mercy or flowing water. Near the sheep gate, house of kindness. And if you know anything about the sheep gate, then you understand that there was one way for them to go in, one way for them to go out. The shepherd let them in, and at night when he let them back in, he counted them. That's another work of his staff. But they couldn't come up another way. See, they couldn't crawl up under the fence, so they couldn't come over. They had to come the way that the shepherd was showing them. And sometimes when that same animal kept abusing that, then that's what the staff was for as well. They would break their legs, especially if they kept trying to run away, so they couldn't run away. And he would get up under that rod, because this is the rod. We're talking about the Mashiach. So the rod, we're going to see that rod again in the wilderness, right? It's for correction. Jeremiah 30 and 17, see? I'm sorry. So the exiles is gathered through mercy or grace is in Isaiah 14 and 1, Jeremiah 30, 17 through 18. So John 9 and 1, the blind from birth, which means from the time they was born, they was blind. But boom, here it is. They got healed in Sinai, but we know that they keep slipping. We're going to see here, again, the Mashiach is going to be crying. He's going to weep for Jerusalem. Because of their disobedience, now here come the Romans. So for I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, says Yahuwah. Because they called thee an outcast, saying, This is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. Thus says Yahuwah, Behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tents, and have mercy on his dwelling places. And the city shall be builded upon her own heap, and the palace shall remain after the manner thereof. And out of them shall proceed thanksgiving and the voice. So we can see they blew the mission the last time. It's going to happen again. Going to gather all of his from the four corners of the earth. He's going to send messengers to do that. Right? We can read that. John 5 and 3. In these lay a great multitude of impotent folk, of blind, halt, withered, waiting for the moving of the water. See? But here come the Mashiach. He right there. So enmity between the two. Let's look at this. And that he might reconcile both to Yahuwah. In 721 BC, the northern kingdom of Israel fell to the Assyrians. Many of the people of Israel were led off to Assyria as captives. Remember, you had two houses, house of Israel and house of Judah. But some remained in the land and intermarried with foreigners planted there by the Assyrians. See, because remember when Yah sent the lions down and they started devouring people, so they sent for the real priest to come and show the people how to worship. These half Hebrew, half stranger people became known as the Samaritans. And if you really want to go back further than that, we know that the king of Israel, I can't remember his name at that time, that's what he named the first city that they built, Samaria. So how people can get this mixed up and say that they was not the people what they thought they was, I'm confused on that. Because history tells us different. So in 586 BC, the southern kingdom of Judah fell to the Babylonian Empire once and for all. As the walls of Jerusalem were breached, the temple was destroyed, and the city walls torn down. So from the lesson, we know what the word breach means, right? So they was flooded by the Babylonians. They came in and tore everything down, burned everything down to the ground. So Sumerians are the first mentioned in the Bible in the book of Ezra and Nehemiah. In the 5th century BC, at this point, Babylon had given way to the Persian Empire. Remember, we did that in class. We saw how all that happened. A Hebrew curried favor with the king and was able, that's what Nehemiah was, and was able to return to Jerusalem to rebuild. However, the Samaritans remaining in the land opposed the rebuilding efforts and caused problems for Nehemiah and his fellow workers. This was the beginning of a long-lasting hatred between Hebrews and Samaritan mixture. So it's a few other times we can go back to when David was about to be king. It's a few examples of this. Israel and Judah have always had problems, but I guess this was the last time this was a problem, and it's put the icing on the cake. So we're gonna see this. So we're gonna be this is what people don't understand, and this is what you got to understand when you're dealing with this New Testament. 'Cause they already did enough devilment to it as it is. 2 Kings 15 and 29. In the days of Pekah, king of Israel, came Tiglath Pileser, king of Assyria, and took Ion and you see it, Abel, Beth Maach, and Janoah, and Kadesh, and Hazar, and Gilead, and Galilee, all the land of Naphtali, and carried them captives to Assyria. So Ion, it means a ruin, a place in the north of Palestine, belonged to the tribe of Naphtali. See? Abel Maacah, metal of the house of Maacah, city in North Israel near Beth Makkah. Galilee, circuit district, a territory of Naphtali, largely occupied by heathens. So we see that the mixture, this is where this mixture, I mean, this is we talking about at least 1,000 years or more that all this was going on. So the people is mixed up. See? They're not like a pure people. Right? It's Ephraim. We're going to see this. The 20 towns given by Solomon to Hiram, king of Tyre, as payment for his work in conveying timber from Lebanon to Jerusalem. And the same Hiram is the one that they try to call Hiram Abyss and these masonry cults. So that's just what it is. But you see, Hiram was a good friend of King Solomon. Good friend. So anyway, let's keep rolling. Yahweh is merciful. So a proselyte only mentioned 4 times in the New Testament are the proselytes. I need everybody to be on mute. Matthew, Acts, uh, uh, 2 and 1, 6 and 5, and 13 and 43. The word proselyte is a transliteration of the Greek word proselytos, which means a stranger or foreigner. These are non-Hebrews or non-Jews, what we would call today Gentiles, that have joined Israel and followed Yahuwah and his teachings. Okay? But when we in the New Testament, we got to look for this word proselyte, because that's going to tell us who it is. Especially when we go to our blue letter. I mean, it's going to tell you exactly who it is and what kind of people it is, because we've been made to believe in the past that that he said when Paul was talking about the two different, that there's enmity between these fake pastors, and made it to be so this is Israel and then this is the rest of the nations, the Gentiles. That's a lie. The Greek word proselytos is used in the Septuagint to translate the Hebrew word gayer, which also means a stranger or foreigner, a non-Israelite. It was not uncommon for foreigners to join Israel, and many of them came out of Egypt with Israel. So we know this. But in the New Testament, when it's talking about Gentiles, it's not talking about these people. Because that's what people got to understand. This whole book is about Israel. Whoever else will come. Real simple, but if you got to be able to decipher. When Israel came out of Egypt, it was not just Israelites who came out, but a multitude of others. So there's that word again, multitude. And Yahuwah gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent to them such thing as they required. Right? So they really plundered them, and they spoiled the Egyptians. The children of Israel journeyed from Ramesses to Succoth. So we see that Ramesses was the name of a city. Was it the name of a pharaoh? But that's what they showed you in the Ten Commandments on TV. About 600,000 on foot that were men besides children, and a mixed multitude went up also with them, flocks and herds, even very much cattle. We see that in Exodus chapter 12. So we keep seeing this word multitude, multitude, because the proselytes are and can be a part of the multitude. Let's keep rolling, but not in the time of the Mashiach. But in the time we see when we go to Acts, we start seeing proselytes was all in the mix there. So evidently somebody was seeing something, or some of the people that was out there that might have went their different way, they kept the same customs of the Elohim of Israel. So even Paul in the New Testament understood this and recognized that anyone could join Israel just as they did in ancient times. But again, we have to know these definitions. We have to be able to use our lexicons to get to the bottom of this. Because this new age church, boy, they want to make that people feel like they left out. Ain't nobody left out. Because you're gonna see, we all have to be grafted right back in. We all have to be. So there is no, I mean, as far as Israel and their I guess you could say place in the priesthood, oh yeah, that's going, there ain't nothing can be done about that. Because if you have a Hebrew that come, he joined, I mean he turned back to his Elohim, he get up on the covenant with him, he's gonna be strong. Stronger than anybody else in the kingdom. There's no help, there's no hope for that. There's no way of changing that. But again, well, let's keep going. We're gonna see some stuff because I try to put some stuff on your mind on this one. You got to have the same laws and mishpats for the alien, which is a stranger, and the native born, which is a Hebrew. I am Yahuwah your Elohim, right? Leviticus 24 and 22. We now have a clear understanding of these four people groups. So all the stuff we've been looking at so far, the Hebrews, the observant Hebrews who rejected the Greek culture and language. They was willing to die for it, just like when we go to the book of the Apocrypha, when the woman wanted to circumcise her kids, and they killed her for that. But she said, "I refuse to follow the ways of these foreigners or the ways of these Greeks." Just like the brother they was trying to give that bad food to, and he refused. They said, "Well, just act like it's something else." He was like, "No, this is the observant Hebrews who reject the Greek culture and language." Then you had the Hellenists, the Hebrews who adopted the Greek culture and language. These are the ones that was coming back to get baptized. These are the people that the Mashiach was after. So the nations is Ephraim. They also Israel, some of them from the 10 lost tribe, because guess what? They mixed up. We see that just from the time of this Assyrian captivity, I mean, they was already amongst heathens anyway, and marrying them and having children with them. Then you have the stranger or proselyte, non-Israel, who joined himself with both houses. It's just this is not a hard thing. But if we don't understand, then so when we start looking up and we look up and it says Hellenistic, not a Jew. Of course they're not a Jew because they're not from the tribe of Judah. They are from the tribe of Israel. This is why they was having problems. They said, well, man, he bring Gentiles into the temple. He was not bringing no Gentiles in the temple. He was bringing these Hellenized people that had the ways of the Greeks, was looking like the Greeks, eating like the Greeks, talking like the Greeks. That was the problem because the house of Judah felt like, well, that's like the same thing with the prodigal son. It's a parable, but it's truth in it. He's showing you. The son, you had two sons. Judah stayed at home. He got taken away. He came back home. He stayed home. He did everything the father said. He was trying his best to keep the commandments, some of them. Okay, then here it is. The house of Israel, they ran off. They sleeping, they living all riotous, because we're gonna see that's their lifestyle. They living riotous, they having a good time, they ain't thinking about nothing until they got broke, and then was so hungry they started eating with the pigs. And then I can show you the scripture with Judah, man, oh my goodness. I should have put that in there, but I didn't. But here come Israel, the house of Israel coming back. The father see him. He put the ring on him, hit him with the nice clothes, hit him with the nice feet. Another son, why are you doing this for him? All that is shadow pictures of the house of Israel. When the woman that got caught in adultery, that was a shadow picture for the house for all Israel. Because throughout history, Israel has always committed adultery in some way, form, or fashion. But we just got to understand what we're looking at. Let's keep rolling. So the Israelites journeyed from Ramsey to Succoth. There was about 600,000 men on foot, besides women and children. Many other people went up with them. I just did it. I just gave you two different examples from two different translations, just to see this. These foreigners were to be treated the same as the Israelites. The alien living with you must be treated as one of your native born. Love him as yourself. For you were aliens in Egypt. I am Yahweh Elohim. Remember how you was treated? We don't do that here. You was a slave over here, but we don't allow this type of stuff. You want to be in servitude? Okay, maybe you didn't make the right decisions, or maybe all of a sudden your crops didn't come in that time. I'm gonna go ahead and tie myself to this brother, but I know after a certain time it's gonna be a jubilee. I'm gonna be free. But if I do things to, if I knock his eye out, if I knock his tooth out, I got to make some type of restitution for that. That's the law. So John 4:9. Then says the woman of Samaria to him, how is it that thou, being a Hebrew, because I hate how they play on this word Jew, askest drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? See, because if you didn't understand what we just learned, then you would be thinking they was a whole different people. But we know that the Messiah said he was only going to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So why would he stay with these people for days? Come on, man, we got to think about what we're reading. For the Hebrews have no dealing with the Samaritans, right? Or I could say the house of Judah has no dealing with the house of Israel. Yahshua answered and said to her, if thou knowest the gift of Yahuwah, and who it is that says to thee, give me to drink, thou would have had asked of him, and he would have given thee living water. So we know the living. He is the living water. The Ruach is the living water. Living water comes from the Father from the very beginning. And then even in the kingdom, there's going to be fountains of living water all over the place. We can see that in the book of Enoch. The woman said to him, Sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. From whence then hast thou that living water? Art thou greater than our father Jacob, which gave us the well? Some people say, well, see, they was confused. They even thought that this was that they was Jacob's children. They are. And drank thereof himself and his children and his cattle. Yahshua answers and said to her, whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again. But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst. Water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life. We just got to make sure that we keep ourselves hydrated with this word. Because if you don't, you're going to start wandering off, and you might get so far you can't even see the rest of the sheep. You might get so far you can't even see the shepherd no more. Then you out here with these wolves. So there ain't the two things you could do. Try to fight your way and get back in safety, get back to the flock, or you're going to become a wolf too. Think about it. So Jeremiah 17:12 through 14. A glorious high throne from the beginning is the palace of our sanctuary, or the place of our sanctuary. O sovereign, the hope of Israel, and that forsake thee shall be ashamed. And they that depart from thee are written, it says, now here in the King James, it says in the earth. But we know there's another translation that says on the earth, because they have forsaken Yahuwah, the fountain of living waters. Heal me, O sovereign, I shall be healed. Save me, and I shall be saved, for thou art my praise. So when we look at this word, O sovereign, the hope of Israel, it's Strong's Hebrew word number 4723. It means what? To gathering together at what? At this pool or at the water. I mean, this thing is really cut and dry. You just got to be able to know what to do. 8. So then we look at the Hebrew word H8811. It means to be those that's written on the earth or in the earth. It means imperfect. Expresses an action, process of condition which is incomplete. So that means that you didn't fulfill what you was created for, that you missed the mark, that you, because he told us to be perfect when we walk before him. But if you imperfect, what does that mean? See, and that we got this out of the Hebrew Dictionary Lexicon and Concordance. I keep telling y'all, I tell y'all this for years. Buy you some, man. It's okay to have these tablets and laptops and all, man. Buy you some books. Get you some stuff so if you're really serious about this thing, you can look into it the best way that you can. But I'm telling you right now, you have to be able to do this. Let's keep rolling. So Yahshua, Yahusha, the comforter, because he was the first comforter here, right, on the scene in this scenario. And I will pray the Father, and he shall give you another comforter that she may abide with you forever. So why would he have to pray for the Father to give you another comforter if there was no other comforter in the beginning? So that means he is the comforter. He has to leave so another comforter can come. But this is what he came to do, to comfort the people. We're going to show you this. So John 16:7, nevertheless, I tell you the truth. It is expedient for you that I go away, for if I go not away, the comforter will not come unto you. But if I depart, I will send her to you. But the comforter, which is the Ruach, the set apart one, whom the Father will send in my name, she shall teach you all things and bring all things to you. Remember whatsoever I have said to you. So why you got to have this comforter. But this is what the whole thing between him and John. John was a setup man. Here come the real deal. Gonna lay everything down. But when the comforters come, whom I will send unto you from the Father, wait a minute, whom I will send to you from the Father. So that tells me he's right back at the right hand of the Father. He's gonna send from the Father, even the Spirit of truth, which proceeded from the Father, and she shall testify of me. And you say, why is he saying she? Because when you go back to the old under the old covenant, when it was talking about the Spirit, it always will use it in a feminine form. It's just here for some reason. This is another thing these scribes have done well, because women don't have any power. So that's not, that's too important for a woman to have. It has to be a man. But that's what the world we live in, right? So John 6:37, all that the Father giveth me shall come to me, and him that cometh to me I will in no ways cast out. For I came down from the heavens, not to do mine own will, but the will of him that sent me. And this is the Father's will which hath sent me, that of all which he hath given me I should lose nothing, but should be raised up again at the last day. So if you've been in that water, no matter what you're going through, some kind of way, you can't find you wandered off and can't find your way back, he gonna make sure you come back one way or the other. And this is the will of him that sent me, that everyone which seeth the Son and believeth on him may have everlasting life, and I will raise him up at the last day. That's what we all looking for. We all looking for the land of milk and honey. Right? The spirit which is of Elohim. But as it is written, I have not seen nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which Elohim has prepared for them that love him. So we can look at pictures, we can try to imagine what this kingdom is going to be like. But what he's telling us right here in our little pea brains, you can't even come up with your wildest dreams. You're not going to believe what's prepared for those that love him and keep his commandments. Because that's what it is, right? For them that love him. If you love me, keep my commandments. But Elohim has revealed them unto us by his spirit, for the spirit searches all things, yea, the deep things of Elohim. So this is why we have to have the comforter. For the same way he was using parables trying to give them the deep, dark things, right? The deep things that's hidden. Same thing it is today. That's why we up here on the Shabbat. That's why we keep the feast days. No matter what somebody says. I got partners right now been in this thing longer than I have. Now they don't even want to keep the feast no more. So this is why we got to be grounded, because, with so much stuff that's on these YouTube channels and all these people coming up with these different interpretations of stuff, but they can't never seem like they can't never prove nothing. They never have more than one witness, and you just take off and go with that? Be my guest. 1 Corinthians 2:11, for what man knoweth the things of man, save the spirit of man which is in him? See? Even so, the things of Elohim knoweth no man, but the spirit of Elohim. So, as a man, all you know is what things that men know. And then it's just things that's given to you to know. But when you have the Ruach, or you got one of these comforters, right? Because you really got to have them both. Because you got to be in the comforter who is a Mashiach, and then you have this other comforter that's going to be in you. See, but it takes the spirit of Elohim to understand the words and the dark sayings of Elohim. Now we have received not the spirit of the world, because that's the spirit or the spirit of man which is in him, but the spirit which is of Elohim, that we might know the things that are freely given to us. See, we got a lot of things freely given to us. And one of the biggest ones was the ultimate love gift, Yahushua Ha Messiach. Free, giant gift. That's the key to everything. Without him, There is nothing. There is no salvation. There is no prayer. There's nothing. Really, other than that, you're just doing whatever you do in vain. So, 1 Corinthians 2 and 6, howbeit we speak wisdom among them that are perfect. Because we can do that. Because what does it mean perfect? That they never missed a jump shot? No, they walking and they doing their best to stay in the Mashiach on the path. Yet not the wisdom of this world, nor of the princes of this world that come to nothing. Everything but Yahuwah's work is going to come to nothing. Period. But we speak the wisdom of Elohim in a mystery. Why is it a mystery? Even the hidden wisdom, which Elohim ordained before the world unto us out of glory, because it's not hidden from us. Because now we've taken the steps, we know the formulas that we had to keep, and so now the books open up to us. But just like we said in the last class, even the publicans that was immersed, they understood what the Mashiach was saying. Only ones that had a problem was who? Was the Pharisees, Sadducees, and the lawyers in the law, scribes. And then you had the people that still was following them. They just could not understand what the brother was talking about. It's real simple to see. So the next time you watch one of these flicks on the J Man on TV, then now you're gonna be like, okay, when they arguing with him, you're gonna be like, okay, he evidently he couldn't have been immersed because he don't even understand the hidden wisdom. He don't understand the mysteries of this book. Okay. Then the other thing you got to do, you got to put time in. Yeah, it's good I mean, you're supposed to have your prayer time and all, that's good, but you got to be reading this book. You got to be reading. If you got a problem reading, and you need to have it on the audio so that you can start listening to it, and you're trying to get it down in your spirit. But you got to spend at least 2 hours a day doing that. Not while you cleaning up, not while you do sitting still and meditation, just sitting there listening. That's how you absorb it. Not just having it playing, doing other stuff. It's sitting there concentrating on what is being said to you. Because y'all knows a lot of our people got caught in that trap. And I am so glad that my grandmother, she drilled us to death about brain power and reading and reading and reading. And I'm so grateful to that woman right now. Because I know a lot of people that have a problem with reading. And some try to turn it around, but others don't. 1 Corinthians, but you're gonna have to know how to do something if you want to get this salvation, which none of the princes of this world knew, for had they known it, they would not have crucified the sovereign of glory. Because guess what? They thought they understood, even Hasatan didn't understand. This hidden wisdom, the mystery of the Mashiach being here. I'm gonna go ahead and kill him. Yeah, okay, go ahead. Do your thing, but you don't even understand what's going on. So, Mashiach teaches the people and gives them all the depths and mysteries of the Torah. This is what he was trying to do. He's trying to get everybody on the same page. Proverbs 1 and 6, to understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings. See? Because people, I've been baptized, I've been going to church all my life. Okay, but you don't understand that you need to keep the commandments. And the disciples came and said unto him, why speakest thou them in parables? Because it's only for those that have ears. And he answered and said to them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. So when you find yourself in this position, we need to really be thankful and grateful and looking at this as an honor, because you was chosen to get this information. You was chosen because he wants you to be in the kingdom. He wants all men to do this. But because you submitted, that's the difference. So Psalms 119, 104. Through thy precepts I get understanding of the will of Elohim, of his worship, the nature and manner of it, of his ordinances, their use and importance, and of his doctrine and the excellency of them. Therefore, I hate every false way. So when you have all this understanding here, how can you do anything but hate every false way? Because if you understand this, this means that you are in covenant with him, and you are willing to do whatever it takes. Because you understand their use and importance. See, you know you got to keep the commandments. You know that the commandments are life-giving. You know the commandments, I mean, they give you everything. all your blessings and everything else come from that. See? You don't worry about helping somebody. Oh man, you gotta here, man, take this $5, man. Matter of fact, here, take this 20. Go sit down, eat you a good meal. You ain't worried about it because you understand, the nature of Yahoo. We don't understand all his ways, but we know his nature. And we supposed to be taking ourselves and it's slowly but surely becoming the same, trying to make our nature become like his nature. And how do we know this? Because through study, meditation, prayer, fasting, all these things, but staying in this book more than you watch YouTube, whatever else you be watching. Because people will watch TV all day, but this, it's like it hurts them. Like you should do 30-minute videos for what? If this is what you if you start, really when especially once you get baptized, and you get this hunger where you kind of like a dope addict where you just got to go find the dope man, or you'll wait on walk pace the floor till he finally get there. As soon as he get there, you can't wait. This is how this supposed to be for you every day. This word is supposed to be the same way. It's supposed to be like dope, and you willing to do whatever it takes for it. That's the mindset you got to have with this. So, the Mashiach's message, from that time, Yah shall begin to preach and say, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. And saying, the time is fulfilled and the kingdom of Elohim is at hand. Repent you and believe the gospel, the call to forgiveness. That's what this is. With the gospel, I remember I asked one of my relatives, they came online with us. They don't come up here no more. I asked him what the gospel is. He was saying all kind of stuff besides what the gospel is. To repent and what? And keep the commandments. Then said Paul, John verily baptized with baptism of repentance, saying unto the people that they should believe on him which should come after him, that is on Yahshua, the consecrated one, the set apart one. We see a lot of similarities between the Ruach and the Mashiach. That's a whole nother. Well, I got a class up here called, I think it's the spirit of the Ruach, the spirit of, it's been so a couple of years ago, but it's up here. Samaritans, Ephraim, house of Israel. All right, so we know the Samaritans or Ephraim, house of Israel, what are they? They're half cake, a half-baked cake. We know this because the prophets told us this. He's a half turn. So he's going to be looking like this and looking like that. Okay? The house of Judah. All right? So we know the house of Judah, the branch was broke off. See, but the roots are still there. That's why Paul told him, don't boast against the root now, because you don't have a chance to be brung back into the sheepfold. Because you was out there lost, strangers. You didn't have no idea about nothing. See? And then we look at this right here, the preparation of the Sion. In other words, this is just how the two became one, because it's a grafting thing that has to go. Both have to be grafted in. One is half baked. He out here. He don't know what's going on. He came back. The other one has been here, but his wickedness done got his branch broke off. So let me do this here real quick, because I got a video I want to show y'all. And I should have did this from the beginning. Hold on a minute. I'm sorry I didn't do that. But that's okay. I just hope it goes back to the same place it was at. There we go. I didn't. Okay, let's see. Hold on a minute. Give me 1 second. Oh, man. Oh, man. All right, here we go. Let me get back in my mode. All right, here we go. Let's watch this video real quick. I hope they don't give me another one of these, because I had to stop. I'm going to put their other videos up here as far as the alphabet, but I cannot use these other videos that I like to use because it's copyright. So I don't think a whole lot of people are seeing these videos. I don't know, but I'm hoping that the people in our class do. That's what I'm mainly concerned about. So let's watch this and see what this is talking about.
This video takes the concept of grafting to a whole new level. Watch carefully how the person cuts half of a guava and half of an apple, and arranges the two halves perfectly together. They apply some toothpaste to the ends of the guava, and apply to prevent any bacteria or diseases forming in them. What you see happening now is a mixture of bananas, pomegranate juice, and onion peelings. This mixture is not only highly nutritious and beneficial for the growth of the future plant, but also prevents any decay or mold forming in the base of the future plant. Now look how the plant looks about 3 months after it was planted. The plant has developed an extensive rootstock and is now ready to be transplanted to a larger pot. Amazingly, both the guava and apple fruit have not yet decayed, which is probably thanks to the toothpaste and antibacterial mixture. And boom, this is how the plant turned out to be after 3 years. As you can see, it is bearing both guava and apple fruit.
That's simple. You see what I'm saying?
Thank you so much
Yeah.
for the meteorologist professional tour segment.
Oh boy, I'm gonna have to do this class over again. Let me see. Hold on a minute. I'm trying not to though. All right, I don't know. I'll just be doing crazy stuff sometimes. All right, let's see if I can get it back. All right. All right. Okay, so let's look at this now. So now we see that the house of Israel has to be grafted in along with the stranger, foreigners, Gentiles, everybody got to be grafted in. So there ain't no favoritism. Only the favoritism and all the payback gonna come for those that are of the blood. But we don't know at this point. We can look at some and guess, but y'all knows all of his. Why I mean, once I started seeing this, I stopped that. No, can't nobody, no, it's only us, only us. Well, he can't be a Hebrew. Look out, no, you don't know that. You don't know it. Anyway, let's keep rolling. The appointed time of restoration. So this is another time. Yahuwah always has appointed times for everything. So we're going to look at Jeremiah 16:15 through 17, Mark 1:17 about the fishers. So this is going to be very important. Jeremiah 16 and 15. But Yahuwah liveth that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had been driven them. And I will bring them again into the land that I gave unto their fathers. Behold, I will send for many fishes. And we're going to see this in the future as well, says Yahuwah. And they shall fish them, and after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill, and out of every hole of the rock. We can read other scriptures where they're going to get a blessing if they find you. Because, again, we Hellenized right here. You know, really everybody. And it's going to be time to go. They're going to be like, man, them people crazy. Well, I'm going to be like Jim Jones. You're going to get me out there and get me. I ain't going nowhere. No, they're going to come and find you. And yes, you are going. Period. You still alive, you're going to be going. Because these hunters and fishing, they're going to want that blessing. So you going with them. You might as well get that in your mind. Right? A lot of them, man, I ain't going, I'm good. Why would I want to leave here, man? Got this brand new big body Benz out there. My wife got a brand new Bugatti. I mean, I'm sitting back. Look at my house, man. 400,000. You see all this gold and chains? I mean, my bank account swole. Man, what are you talking about? Going where, man? No, I'm an American, man. I'm staying right here. That's what you think. So, Isaiah 9:1, nevertheless, the dimness shall not be such as was in her vexation. When at the first, the lightly afflicted the land of Zebulun, we just got done reading that, and the land of Naphtali, we just got done looking at that, and afterward did more grievously afflict her by the way of the sea, beyond Jordan, in Galilee of the nations. See, why would he say Galilee of the nations or Galilee of the Gentiles? Because now we understand why he's saying that. Because this is what the Hebrews had become. And then look over here. We see Decapolis. There's Bethany across Jordan, Perea, right? Bethlehem, Jerusalem, Ramah, Samaria, Nazareth. You could go Galilee right above. So this is where the Messiah was going, right? This is what this is where the sheep was. Let's keep moving. So after leaving Nazareth, he came and dwelt in Capernaum, which is upon the seacoast in the borders of who? Zebulun and Naphtali. They tell you this in the front and in the back of the book. See, it's more than one witness. That's why if anybody come to you talking about anything, Billy Carson or one of these other people, okay, man, first of all, do you know how to read these hieroglyphics he's talking about? No. Well, how do you know that's what he's saying? Okay, where is there another witness? Got to be another book somewhere saying the same thing except one book. We always got to have two or more witnesses. And that's going to shut them down because they're not going to be able to answer the question. Matthew 4:14, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by where? Isaiah the prophet, saying, the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali by the way of the sea beyond Jordan, Galilee of the Gentiles. Just said Galilee of the nations in the other scripture, right? Oh, I love this stuff. The people which sat in darkness saw great light, and to them which sat in the region and shadow of death, light has sprung up. Wait a minute, they was in the region and the shadow of death? Yeah, they were. We're gonna find out why. So I use the let me see, hold on a minute. I use the boy, it's a trip getting old, ain't it? The LXX Septuagint for this. And he blessed them and said, this is Genesis 48, Yahweh in whose sight my fathers were all well pleased, even Abraham, right? Or for grammar, Abram. And Isaac, the Elohim who continues to feed me from my youth until this day. The messenger who delivers me from all evils, bless these boys, and my name shall be called upon them, and the name of my fathers, Abraham and Isaac, and let them be increased to a great multitude on the earth. So this word multitude has a lot of meaning to it, don't it? This is already prophesied way back in Genesis. And all through this whole scripture, we just keep seeing this word. All right. And Joseph, having seen that his father put his right hand on the head of Ephraim, it seemed grievous to him. Joseph took hold of the hand of his father to remove it from the head of Ephraim to the head of Manasseh, because I guess Manasseh was the firstborn. But Yah had other plans. And Joseph said to his father, no, not so, father, for this is the firstborn. Lay thy right hand upon his head. Right? And he would not, but said, I know it, my son, I know it. He also shall be a people, and he shall be exalted, but his younger brother shall be greater than he, his seed shall become a multitude of nations. So it's just a long time ago. So, verse 16, let them grow into a multitude, which is Strong's number 81711, Dagah, right? Dagah, a primitive root to move rapidly, used only as a denominative from to spawn. Wait a minute, to spawn? What kind of animal spawns? Fish do, right? And we know we have a lot of fishes in our family. We be watching them fish. We see how they be zipping around. They be moving rapidly in schools or by themselves, right? So, in other words, he said to become numerous, to grow a school of fish. That's the only thing I know that spawns. Strong's 81710. Let's go. So it's a root word, but we're gonna try to get another example of this. So in Genesis 1 and 26, this same word, and Yahweh said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea. That's that word Dagah. Uh-oh. So we know that's the Hebrew word what? Letter what? Nun, which means life. Okay, let's keep rolling. Isaiah 27, blow the great shofar for our freedom and lift a banner to gather the exiles and gather us from the four corners of the earth. Blessed art thou, O Elohim, who gathers the banished of the people of Israel. He's going to do it again. He's going to do it all over again. They shall come with weeping and with supplications. Will I leave them? I will cause them to walk by the rivers of waters in a straight way. So John said, make every mountain low, make every crooked path straight, wherein they shall not stumble, for I am a father to Israel, and Ephraim, is my firstborn. Because we know the other brothers blew the mission. From killing folks and be acting like they was friendly and murdering folks, to sleeping with their father's concubine. Right? And putting Ephraim's father Joseph into captivity. So Hosea 7 and 8, Ephraim, he hath mixed himself among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned. So he burnt and black on one side and light and fluffy on the other side. Yeah. Yah said, therefore, walk no more openly among the Hebrews or the house of Judah, but went thence unto a country near the wilderness, where John was, and to a city called Ephraim. There continued with his disciples. Because he going around gathering the lost sheep. He ain't thinking about nobody else. When you go to the New Testament, it says some Greeks was trying to talk to him. He act like they wasn't even there. Because they was Greek. They was actual really Greeks. Right? I mean the stranger. We just got them going through that list. And if I was you, I would go back and when this thing, you watch this video again, screenshot that and put it somewhere in your Bible so that you don't never get confused anymore. So Mark 1:17 equals the fishers. And Yahshua walked beside the Sea of Galilee. See, still in that same region. He saw Simeon and his brother Andrew casting a net into the lake. For they were fishermen. Come follow me, Yahshua said, and I will send you out to fish for people. At once they left their nets and followed him. So he got real fishers. And we covered this before, but I just want to put it in because I revised some of this stuff because I wanted some new people to see this, just in case. They went to Capernaum. And when the Sabbath came, Yahshua went into the synagogue and began to teach. I need everybody on mute, please. The people were amazed at his teaching because he taught them as one who had authority, not as the teachers of the law. That's powerful. Just then, a man in their synagogue who was possessed by an impure spirit cried out, "What do you want with us, Yahshua of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of Yahuwah." But what did he tell them to do? He told them to shut up. No, I want them to believe because of the words I'm saying. You already see how I look. I ain't no pretty man. So the words that I'm speaking, if somebody hear that, then they're going to want to take the steps that they need to take. See? And leaving Nazareth, he came and dwelt in Capernaum. What's the deal with this Capernaum? Capernaum, G number 2584, village of comfort. That's waiting to be comforted by the Comforter. A flourishing city of Galilee, situated on the western shore of the Sea of Galilee. And there followed him great multitudes of people from Galilee and from Decapolis and from Jerusalem and from Judea and from beyond the Jordan. So that's everybody was out there. We know the Pharisees was out there because they kept tripping about his teachers. Teaches the multitudes from Decapolis, which equals the 10 cities or 10 tribes, where tribes were taking from. Comfort is H number 5162. Nacham, to comfort, be moved to pity, suffer, grief, repent. Jeremiah 31:10. Hear the word of Yahweh, O you nations, and declare it in the isles afar off, and say, He that scattereth Israel will gather him and keep him as a shepherd does his flock. Go and cry in the ears of Jerusalem, saying, Thus says Yahweh, I remember thee, the kindness of thy youth, the love of thine espousals, when thou wentest after me in the wilderness, in a land that was not sown. So here it is out here at Mount Sinai. They fought, he rescued them. You know, we learned this before years ago. He went in and slew the dragon, because that's or the great crocodile, that was Pharaoh's title, got his bride, and brought her out to the wilderness to meet him. And she was all lovey-dovey and all these type of things until she committed adultery. He healed her, made her whole. Israel was holiness unto Yahuwah, and the first fruits of his increase. All that devour him shall offend, evil shall come upon them, says Yahuwah. So we see what's happening to America right now. You know, the most wickedest countries on the earth is having the most problems with devastation and all these other things. But the people that's believing in these leaders, they don't understand what's going on. But don't think that these leaders and these people don't know who you are, don't know what you're trying to do. And when you look at it, with all the stuff that's on the internet, so many young people have never been to, you know, in my generation, when you went to church, you had some type of idea of what church was. A lot of these youngsters now, they don't even have a clue about that. And so they absorbing this information about we were indigenous to this country. That's fine. But then because I talked to a young man, no man, I don't need that. We have the what did he say? The Great Spirit or something. He said, but you know, we indigenous here. And I said, well, man, you need to get some books you need to read, like you know the Hebrewisms of what's that book called? The Hebrewisms. Uh, of West Africa. That book, it's a few of them out there. These explorers actually was coming. The people had fringes on. When I mean, you can see different things because they kept saying these people act like they're the Jewish people. They keep some of the same things. When the woman is on her menstrual, they have a long house where the women go and leave and stay for the days until their purification. The new moon came in and they was observing all these different things. So whatever you call yourself, it always leads you back here. You have to do these things. Period. I don't have a problem with it. I watched a series I've been watching. My brother sent me a fire stick, and I started watching this Bash Reeves. I remember him in school. It was Bash Reeves and another guy, Bill something. He had an afro, but he was like this great bronc rider and all this. But he only had like about 10 pages in the book. That's all so but this thing here, these people talking about these fallen angels that they broke down with the Indians was calling them. The brother had ran off and was a slave, and he after the Civil War he took off. He ran into some Seminoles. The girl came out. She was light skinned and had an afro. And her son, I'm just showing me this, and they talking about the Choctaw Nation. They telling you what it really is. I was shocked because I just wanted to see how they was gonna portray this guy because he was like one of my, because we didn't really have a lot of heroes back then. Hell, you didn't even have. I used to read a lot of comic books too, and they wasn't even. I can remember when Black Panther was the first black superhero because you didn't have none of them either. But I'm just letting you know the history is out here and it's starting to be released. So that lets me know we got to be coming closer to the time for them to be doing this type of stuff. Because a lot of people, a lot of these higher ups or these people that go to these higher learning institutions, they know this already. So comfort equals return of Ephraim. See? Isaiah 49:13. Sing, O heavens, and be joyful, O earth, and break forth into singing, O mountains. For Yahweh will have comforted his people and will have mercy upon his afflicted. Psalms 126:1. When Yahweh turned again the captivity of Zion, we were like them that dream. But we can only fathom. We want to know what it's going to be like to get up out of this place. But by the time he get done, you're really going to hate this. You're going to hate America. You're going to hate the whole situation. Jeremiah 31:10. Hear the word of Yahweh, O you nations, and declare it in the isles afar off, and say, he that scattereth Israel will gather him and keep him as a shepherd does his flock. Multitude of nations. Amos 6:6. Woe to you who are complacent in Zion, and to you who feel secure on Mount Samaria. So see, you got to remember, this is what the king. I wish I could remember the first king's name, but that's what he called it, and that's where he moved the people to. That's one of the first cities. You notable men of the foremost nation, to whom the people of Israel come. Go to Calnai and look at it. Go from there to Great Hamath, then go down to Gath and Philistia. Are they better off than your two kingdoms? Is their land larger than yours? You put off the day of disaster and bring near a reign of terror. How you do that? By your actions. Okay? So you lie on beds adorned with ivory and lounge on your couches. Because this is how they used to do it back in the day. Roman time, the Greek time, they like to lay on couches and feast and had their little slaves bringing them stuff. You dine on choice lambs. See, they eating the best of the best and fatted calves. You strum away on your harps like David. So they playing music and proverbs on musical instruments. So they sitting there listening to instruments, all kind of debauchery, I'm sure, is going on. You ever watch some of these documentaries, some of these series like Rome and all these other stuff? It's plain. It's not even a mystery. They don't even hold nothing back. You know what I'm saying? So this is how Ephraim was living. So don't you see it the same way now? You think people they would want to leave this? Man, I'm living good. I'm blessed and highly favored. I don't have no problem. Hmm? Yeah, living deliciously, right? Like a boss. Ain't that what they say? You drink wine by the bowlful and you bowlful and you use the finest lotions, but you do not grieve over the ruin of Joseph. You ain't even worried. You don't even remember it. You don't even remember no covenant. You don't even remember you the firstborn. Therefore, you will be among the first to go into exile. Your feasting and lounging is going to end. This is what Yahweh says to Israel: seek me and live. But did they? No. Are we doing it today? No. But like he said, your feasting and lounging is getting ready to end. And we can see that. And I don't care what you look like, what you call yourself, where you from. You can feel the pressure of what these people is what they cooking up. $100, you can't even feed yourself for a week with that no more. Don't get no meats. Get some meats, you're gonna be broke. King James Version. The meek will he guide in judgment, and the meek will he teach his way. This is what we gotta be. Psalms 34:18-20. Yahweh is nigh to them that are of a broken heart, and saveth such as be of a contrite spirit. Many are the afflictions of the righteous. So yeah, he gonna bless you good, but he gonna test you too. But Yahweh delivers him out of all of them. That's gonna build up your confidence in him. And so can't nobody come to you talking about no other Elohim because you ain't trying to hear it. I don't care what you say, man. I'm not letting this go. He keepeth all his bones, and not one of them is broken. So we have boom, we see the shadow picture of Mashiach when he was on the stage. Same thing. All right? So when we look at this word meek, it's Strong's number 6035, anav, poor, afflicted, meek, lowly. So I dwell in a high and holy place, also with him who is of a contrite and lowly spirit, to revive the spirit of the lowly and to revive the heart of the contrite. Very important to have this type of spirit. And the thing about it is, once you get immersed and you in this thing, you ain't gonna be there. Before you might have been beating down everybody there. Now they beating you up because you ain't got it no more. Your whole nature done changed. You have a softer nature. Now you can fight when it's time to fight, but you're gonna wait on your king to tell you that. So in the context of the Bible, the term contrite refers to a state of being deeply remorseful, repentant, and seeking forgiveness from Elohim. It is synonymous with a brokenheartedness for one's sins and a genuine desire to turn away from sinful ways. We got to have that. If you don't, you're not going to ever take the steps that you need. And it's easy to lose this once you've been in this thing. Essentially, a contrite heart or spirit is when a person's inner will has been broken, leading them to surrender to Elohim's desires rather than their own. Did the same thing to me in the military. They broke you down and built you back up. It involves acknowledging the gravity of wrongdoing, showing general sorrow, and committing to change. So having a contrite heart means recognizing our faults, seeking forgiveness, and aligning our lives with Elohim's purpose and plan. And once you cannot see your faults, you got a problem. Because if you're the only one holy, ain't nobody else holy, you need to look at yourself. And deep down, each one of us know what we're struggling with and what we have to overcome. Say what you want, act like you want, look like you want. Deep down, you know. Right? You got a fire mouth, but you all garbed up. Somebody say the wrong thing to you, how you gonna handle it? Can you let it go? Can somebody beat you out of something? Can you let that go? Or you got to let them know. You ain't contrite. You got something you need to work on. Let's keep rolling. So wherefore, remember that you being in times past Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hand. So here we see this word Gentile, which really just means Hellenistic. I could say in times past you was Hellenized in the flesh because you was with these people, you marrying them, you eating like them, you partying like, you keeping their holy days, not the holidays, not the holy days. Who are called uncircumcision because they was gone. They forgot about the covenant of circumcision by their father, by that Abraham, by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh, by the Hebrews or the Jews or the house of Judah that was here, still had the temple, still doing all these things. Then at that time you were without Christ because you didn't know nothing about him. You wouldn't even, you ain't had nobody looking into the prophets, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel. You didn't have no understanding of the commonwealth of your own people. And strangers from the covenant of promise, because you ain't been baptized, you ain't even got no circumcision. You ain't got nothing. Having no hope and without Elohim in the world. But now, in Yahusha, you who sometimes were far off, because we got other scriptures where he's going to say, those that are far and those that are near, how he's going to gather them, are made nigh by the blood of Messiah. For he is our peace, both of us, who made both one and have broken down the middle wall of partition between us. Right? So when Paul was coming with these Hellenized people trying to get in the temple, that's when they said, man, what you doing with these? You can't let them in here. You know what I'm saying? Because there was a petition that of stone that they put up just for that purpose with a sign. See? But having abolished in his flesh the hatred, even the law of commandments contained in ordinances, for to make in himself of twain one new man, so making peace. So when we look at these contained ordinances, what is he talking about? The law itself? No. No. He's dealing with a lot of man-made laws because that came from the Pharisees. That was their own stuff. It had nothing to do with the commandments, right? And the only other thing that was anyway, I got a class on that. If you haven't seen that, it's called the two laws of, if I can remember right. But to making himself of twain one new man, so making peace, and that he might reconcile both unto Elohim in one body by the tree, having slain the enmity thereby. So it should not be no more hatred. We're going to see that when we get to the Sermon on the Mount. And came and preached peace to you which were afar off, and to them that was what? That was near. So you had one that was in Jerusalem, they was near, then you had the other one that was far off, the lost sheep that he going to get. But through him we both have access by one spirit unto the Father. Now therefore you are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints of the household of Yahuwah. And guess what? That goes for anybody else that wants to come. And I'll build upon the foundation of the apostles and the prophets. So that right there alone should anybody reading Paul's writings, this right here alone should make you question. If Paul is telling me I need to be built up on the foundation of the apostles, New Testament, and the prophets, how could I not need to use the Old Testament no more? How could that be done away with? See, because Paul is even showing you this. So Yahusha, oh, come on, don't do this right now. So Yahusha himself being the chief cornerstone, and all of us it's a house that's built up, right? And whom all the building fitly framed together brought up into a holy temple in Yahuwah, and whom you also are builded together for a habitation of Elohim through the Spirit. So if they say your body's your temple, yes, Paul is telling you right here, we all supposed to be built up as one house, having different gifts or different things that we're supposed to be able to do. But guess what? We're supposed to keep ourselves in a way that the Spirit can habitate in us. Because before, the Spirit didn't habitate in everybody. But that's one of the promises, better promises that Paul is talking about in Hebrews chapter 8. So return, we beseech thee, O Elohim, right? Passover, redemption, or visitation. So the visit, which is H number 6485, to seek, to look after, attend, to be appointed, to watch over, right? So Psalms 80 and 14, return, we beseech thee, O Elohim of hosts. Look down from heaven and behold and visit thine vine, this vine right here, right? So set time or moed is the time of visitation. I will go down with thee into Egypt, and I will also surely bring thee up again, and Joseph shall put his hand upon thine eyes. So even with this scripture, if I broke this down way back in Genesis 46, he was already, the Spirit was already trying to show that Joseph or Ephraim or the house of Israel and the house of Judah was going to be having problems. And they have all through history. So if you look up this, Joseph shall put his hand upon thine eyes, that's what it's going to tell you. See? But we don't search for things, so we don't know. Right? So let's look at Luke 167 through verse 73, the promise and the oath. I started to break that down, but I can't make these too long because I don't know, people be complaining. But this one, at this point on this one, I really don't care. I'm just gonna do it like I'm supposed to do it. So let's look at these words. And his father Zacharias was filled with the Ruach, the set apart one, and prophesied and said, Blessed be the sovereign Elohim of Israel, for he has visited and redeemed his people, and has raised up a horn of salvation for us. We know that's Messiah, horn filled with oil, in the house of the servant David. And he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began. That's why Paul told you, you got to have the apostles and the prophets, that we should be saved from in our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us, to perform the mercy promised to our fathers and to remember his holy covenant. So again, even in this country, we're gonna be taking, because you got to really start looking at this thing. You can't really say that it's like all these other nations are we know that the nations hate us, period. But you can't really say that anymore because your enemy is, like he told you from the beginning, is your brother, your neighbor. That's who killing us more than anybody else. So should I be afraid of my own brother too? You better be, especially these little young ones out here. The oath which he swore to our father Abraham. See, that he would, and that I said that is because that we should be saved from you're gonna be saved from your own people. Because by the time this thing goes down, once these kids is thoroughly brainwashed by this AI and these videos and all these fake teachers that's out here, when it comes time for you, you're gonna be recognized as, oh man, you don't eat pork. Why you don't eat pork? Or you, man, how come you don't never be around on this certain day? The book says they're gonna kill you, and then they're gonna think it was they doing the Most High a favor. Yeah, because they're gonna be doing their Elohim a favor. That he would grant it to us that we, being delivered out of the hand of our enemies, might serve him without fear. Because that's gonna be a big statement here one day. In holiness and righteousness before him all the days of our life. And thou shalt be called the prophet of the highest. For thou shalt go before the face of Yahuwah to prepare his way, to give knowledge of salvation unto his people by the remission of their sins, through the tender mercy of our Elohim, whereby the day spring from on high hath visited us. See, the day spring from on high, to give light to them that sit in darkness and the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the way of peace. So until you deal with this the way he wants you to deal with it, well, you sitting in the shadow of death and you in darkness. Hmm? Sermon on the Mount to Ephraim to reverse the exile, the poor and afflicted. This is what this was. When he was up on the mountain, they show you that with the 5 loaves and all this type of stuff. He just basically, he brought them out. It's supposed to be like a glimpse of like the first covenant. While they all out here, he on the mountain, and he said, change your clothes, do all, make yourself clean, because I'm coming down on top of the mountain. Same scenario. This is what he's trying to show you. Same thing. Brought the people out there, he's standing at the top, the people out at his feet. That's Hebrew culture. The students always sat at the teacher's feet. Just got to understand what's going on. This is a marriage proposal, the same way he did it before. And seeing the multitudes, he went up into a mountain, and when he was set, his disciples came unto him. Y'all don't never change. Never. And he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, so blessed is Strong's number G3107. It means to be happy, to be well off. Now, it was but in the church they told us, well, see, blessed, I'm blessed. And how come you blessed? Man, I'm sitting out there, I got money in the bank, I'm sitting out here riding good. That ain't got nothing to do with what he talking about. To be well off? Nah. It's a different well off. Luke 14 and 15. And when one of them that sat at meat with him heard these things, he said unto him, blessed is he that shall eat bread in the kingdom of Yahuwah. To me, that's being well off. To me, that's being very happy. To me, that's being blessed. Because everything else you got gonna fade away. Somebody gonna steal it. The rest of you see you up here where I'm at now. If you all in the cars, you better have you another little hoopty for when the snow hit here. Because salt eat your car, eat it to pieces. Or you got to go get an undercoat to try to. That don't work. That only work for so long. So anything you got, he already told you that people can break in your house and take it. The moths can eat them fine garments. All this stuff you worried about. This is the blessing. To eat bread in the kingdom. See, that means you're gonna be at the feast. You're gonna be at the wedding feast. Let's keep moving. So blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of Shamaim. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek. So he's giving you everything that you need. All of these things. Excuse me. Give me 1 second. My mouth getting dry. All these words you need to be looking up because that's gonna give you a better understanding of what you need to be striving to be like. See, so blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. The same way he's comforted them now. Same thing gonna happen. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Ain't that where you want to be? But they got you going to heaven. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness. They shall be filled. See, you want to hunger and thirst? Remember, I used to pace the floor. I be waiting on them DVDs with the lesson to get here. I be mad because it ain't got here yet. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see Elohim. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of Elohim. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. See? Blessed are ye when men shall hate you and persecute you and say all manner of evil against you falsely for my name's sake. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. And we see John the Baptist, they were calling him a devil, and the brother ain't drink no wine and do nothing. He didn't go nowhere he wasn't supposed to be. He went down in the whole house talking to hoes, trying to tell them what they need to do to come up out of this. He didn't even go near none of that. But still, y'all just let him get his head cut off. Because he fulfilled his purpose. Oh, you better believe he gonna be in the kingdom. Ain't no doubt about that. Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt have lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted? See, you can't, if you losing your flavor, you got to do something to get that salty. Because, see, if somebody give you a hamburger and they ain't got no salt, no seasoning, or nothing on it, you, man, what the? But they hit it with that seasoning, oh, man, that make it just right. You are the light of the world. A city that is set on the hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, giveth light unto all that are in the house. That's our ways, right? Let your light so shine before men, even when you're at work and somebody piss you off, can't get the last word in, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in the Shamayim. Think not that I come to destroy the law. Told you that, or the prophets, because you're gonna need both of these. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Fulfill what? My part. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass away, one jot, one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, to all be fulfilled. And we know all ain't fulfilled. I don't see Mashiach's kingdom nowhere. I don't see no throne of David nowhere. It's a whole lot of, where the two witnesses at? There's a whole lot of stuff got to happen. So how could the law be done away with? Who else? What? But I know the law of sin and death is done away with if I stay in Christ. Other than that, it's not. Whosoever therefore shall, he told you was sitting in darkness, you was sitting, you waiting on death. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. Well, we know what that means. That's in the pit. And so I think after this series, I'm gonna put that other class up here on the pit or Abraham's bosom. Because as a brother I was watching, he was saying, well, the lady asked a question about Abraham, about the rich man and Lazarus. He was like, well, this is after the resurrection. I'm like, how could this be after the resurrection? This man is saying, go back and warn my family. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. That's what I'm striving for. For I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and the Pharisees. They knew the book, they knew the law in and out, but they had their own way of doing things. And that's what they was putting on the people. And it ain't no different than it is now. You shall in no case enter the kingdom of heaven. So you can help, you can go save the whales, you can help the monkeys, you can give money to the poor, you can spend time down at the shelter, you can do all these things. If you're not in Christ and you doing it for nothing, you might as well just be wicked and have the best time that you can have. You have heard that it was said of them of old time, thou shalt not kill. Boom. He's shooting them back to the law. That's why I put it in purple for royalty. And whoever shall kill shall be in danger of judgment. Now, I say unto you that whoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of judgment. So we see here that the Mashiach what he's doing is he's taking it further than what Moses said. He's making it more intense. Because now you can just be mad with your brother and you got a problem. That's just like killing him. And whosoever shall say to his brother, Rakah, shall be in danger of counsel. But whosoever shall say, thou fool, shall be in danger of hellfire. Therefore, if thou bring thy gift to the altar, and there remember that thy brother has aught against thee, so you can pray all you want. If you know you did something that you had said something you shouldn't have did, you got to make it right. You got to humble yourself and be meek and humble and go apologize to that person. You don't do that, you can pray all you want. It ain't gonna mean nothing. Leave there thy gift before the altar and go thy way. First be reconciled to that. So leave your gift there. Okay, your little sacrifice offering, that like just the special animal you had saved up, because you just want to show Yahoo how much you love him and all the good things he's done for you, but you got a problem with your brother. So now so leave that there, then go ahead and find your brother, reconcile, and then come and offer thy gift. And agree with the adversary very quickly. You get pulled over, get your hand off me, don't touch me, you can't do this, you can't arrest me. And every time you watch a video like that, you see what happened to them. So he telling you, agree with thine adversary quickly, while thou art in the way with him. That's at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and then the judge deliver thee to the officer. Now you in jail and you cast in prison. Now you had to pay all these fines and all this other stuff. By the time you get done, it took about 10, 15 grand out your pocket. That's why he's telling you, verily I say unto you, thou shalt by no means come out thence till thou hast paid the uttermost farthing. See, I mean, this is wisdom. And we still see this today. You break a commandment. That's what blows my mind. If I break one of these commandments, except adultery, and at one time adultery, you could go to jail for that. But today, if I break at least 7 of the commandments, I'm going to jail. So how can you gonna put me in? But I thought about, but the law of God is the law of Elohim ain't no good. But this is good, and it's the same thing that you locking me up for. People don't be thinking. But by the time they get out their pocket, see, you have heard that it said by them of old, thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her have committed adultery with her already in his heart. So you might as well go ahead and do it. And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee, for it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, not that thy whole body should be cast into hell. I remember when I was back in the day, when I was saved. See, that's just it just kind of make an example. No, I'm thinking that's real, because if you just can't stop stealing, you need to do something to stop you from stealing. Because if you trying to get, oh man. And if thy right hand offend thee, cut it off and cast it from thee, for it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body shall be cast into hell, or Sheol, or the pit. It has been said, whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a right into divorce. See, I'm tired of her. I can't deal with her no more. She on these shopping sprees. Every time I come in the house, she on the phone. She don't never cook nothing. Man, that's your problem. You the one chose her. You didn't wait on Yah for him to give you what you needed. You was lusting with your eyes, and look what you got. So you just can't jump up and divorce her. This is what he's saying. But I say to you that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for the cause of fornication, causing her to commit adultery, and whoever shall marry her that is divorced, committeth adultery. So if she ain't out here running around, and and Paul told you when both supposed to come together, right? So you supposed to be with her when she wants you. He supposed to be with you when you want you, right? Because now you ain't causing them to commit adultery. See? So you got to understand that. You got to know who you marrying. See? Because you might have got married somebody that was a divorce and there was no type of fornication involved. You got a problem. That's why you always got to wait on Yah. Can't trust your own eyes. Your own eyes going to get you in trouble. Again, you have heard that it has been said by them of old, thou shalt not forswear thyself, but shalt perform it to Yah, the sovereign, thine oaths. But I say unto you, because I know how crazy Yahweh is, don't even swear at all, neither by heaven, for it is Yahweh strong, nor by the earth, for it is footstool, neither by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. Neither shalt thou swear by thy head, because you can't not make one hair white or black on your head. So just be quiet, then you're not going to have no problem. Oh, if you just get me out of this, sovereign, I'm gonna do what you say. I'm done. I ain't going over there no more. I'm done with them people. I'm done with this. I'm not touching that no more. And then he gets you out of it. You're like, wow, it's the only way I could have got out of that thing was, yeah, woo wee. I don't care what nobody say, he alive. Next thing you know, you right back at the same. But let your communications be yea, yea, nay, nay, for whatsoever is more than that is it cometh of evil. You have heard that it have been said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. I say unto you that you resist not evil, but whosoever shall smite thee on thy right cheek, turn to him the other also. And if any man will sue thee at the law and take away thy coat, let him have thy cloak also. Well, he just ain't got your clothes, because they say these other coats. You see them where they had an extra cloak wrapped around their arm while they walking. And whosoever shall compel thee to go a mile, go with him too. Give to him that asketh of thee, and from him that would borrow of thee, turn not thou away. You have heard that it hath been said, Thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully you. Now, to me, I'm thinking he's talking about these two houses, because we can see when it comes to your enemies, he don't play with them. He just destroy them. But that's a big argument right there. So the merciful Father Torah, Psalms 18:20 through 30. Yahweh rewarded me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanliness of my hands, and have recompensed me according to his righteousness, according to what he was doing, not what you think he should be doing. For I have kept the ways of Yahweh and have not wickedly departed from my Elohim. For all his judgments were before me, and I did not put away his statutes from me. I was also upright before him, and I kept myself from mine iniquity. So you got to keep yourself from your iniquity or your mess. Therefore have Yahweh recompensed me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanliness of my hands in his eyesight. Now what I think is right, I got to search the apostles and the prophets to find out what's right. With the merciful thou wilt show thyself merciful. With the upright man thou shalt show thyself upright. With the pure thou shalt show thyself pure, and with the froward thou shalt will show thyself froward. What? Uh-oh. For thou wilt save the afflicted people, but will bring down high looks. For thou wilt light my candle, Yahweh my Elohim, will lighten my darkness. For by thee I have run through a troop. By my Elohim have I leaped over a wall. So he got you mighty, you like a mighty warrior. As for Elohim, his way is perfect. The word of Elohim is tried. He is a buckler to all those that trust him. So he's going to make you a great warrior. You're going to be able to run through a gang of soldiers. And guess what? He's going to be your buckler or your shield. Merciful is Greek number 2623. Now I want to say Hebrew. That's Hebrew word number 2623. So saints, holy, good, merciful, and from the root, kakad to be good, kind, to show kindness to those who follow Torah. We supposed to do that. Sometimes it ain't easy. I try my best, even if this is well, I do my best that I can. You know what I mean? But it's things that we all got to get over. Sometimes people do stupid things, but you still got to just pray for them and then just keep it moving. And many people shall go and say, Come ye and let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, to the house of the Elohim of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways. And we can learn some of his ways right now. This is how we do that, by reading the apostles and the prophets. And we will walk in his path. Out of Zion shall go forth the law, the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem. Hey, the law ain't going nowhere. So, for if you love them that love you, what reward have you? Do not even the publicans the same? And if you salute your brethren only, what do you more than others? Do not even the publicans also? So look here, Samaritans and house of Israel and house of Judah, I need to stop tripping. Be ye therefore perfect. Walk in the way, even as your Father which is heaven is perfect. So we got to remember, huh? Watch that voracious tongue. Got to be able to knock it down. You got to put that fire out in it. Again, you can't always have the last word. You got to let it go, and you got to keep yourself hydrated at all times. And many people shall go up and say, I had to do this again, come and let us go up to the mountain of Yahuwah, to the house of Elohim of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his path. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of Yahuwah from Jerusalem. Yet Yahuwah testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, turn you from your evil ways and keep my commandments and my statutes according to all the law which I commanded your fathers and which I sent to you by my servants the prophets. But we know the Messiah was crying because Israel missed the visitation. They didn't even understand what was going on. But you had some that did it. That's why it says as many as grabbed on, they became the sons of Elohim. So, but they refused to hearken and pulled away the shoulder and stopped their ears that they should not hear. See the same thing happening right now today. Yea, they made their hearts as an adamant stone, like hard, lest they should hear the law. That's why when you look at the 10 Commandments put on stone, you know the people had stony hearts. He gave them commandments on stone. But under the new covenant, when you get that new body, he's gonna make your heart fleshly. It's gonna be soft. I mean, it's he gonna put it all up in your mind and everything. You ain't gonna have to ask nobody no question because you're gonna know what it is. And the word of Yahuwah host has sent in his spirit by the former prophet. Therefore came a great wrath from Yahuwah host. So when we look at all these different type of religions and stuff like that, that most of us is wrapped up in, especially for those of us that have that dark pigment, what do? We choosing Islam, the God of our captors that slaughtered us, a form of Catholicism. But we got some form of Catholicism or ball in our life. Not even understanding what's going on. And many ain't ever read this book. Need to read this book. It's called Islam's Black Slaves, the Other Black Dysphoria. When you read this book, if you still want to be talking about that Islam is the true religion, then you go right on ahead. But if this don't change your mind, or you know somebody in your family that got this problem, you need to get them this book and just mail it to them. They might not even read it, but at least you try. See, so right now, we are just floating on the waves of self-righteousness and misinformation, waiting on death. We don't learn that now. See? They don't want to get on the ship. They like where they're at. They're comfortable. The grass withers in Isaiah 40 and the flowers fall because the breath of Yahuwah blows on them. Surely the people are grass, and the grass withers and the flowers fall. But the word of Elohim endures forever. The word of our Elohim. You who bring good news to Zion, go up on the high mountain. You who bring good news to Jerusalem, lift up your voice with a shout. Lift it up. Do not be afraid. So with that, I'm hoping that you understand everything that we went over. So at this point, I got to say, thank you for your time. All right, so we're going to stop the video